Okay, let's unpack this.
Today, we are doing a deep dive into what might seem like a pretty niche corner of the digital world. But for anyone serious about their family history,
Yeah.
well, it's indispensable. We're talking about the Family Gem Android application.
Exactly. And for those of you who aren't familiar, this is a remarkably powerful tool. It's open source, it's Android only, and it's built specifically to manage, really complex family trees.
And it's built from the ground up to follow the gold standard for genealogy, which is the GEDCOM standard, specifically versions 5.5.1 and 5.5.5.
Right, and that adherence is so key. But what really makes it stand out, I think, in a very crowded field of apps, is just how accessible it is.
Absolutely. The basic version is completely free. You don't need an account. There are blessedly no ads.
Yeah.
It really lowers the barrier to entry for anyone looking for a serious mobile solution.
That open approach is so refreshing. Now, to be clear, there is one premium feature. It lets you merge two trees together.
Right, that was added in version 1.0.
But, and this is crucial, everything else we are about to get into, from handling adoptions to advanced data recovery, all of that is available for free. You just have to know where to find the hidden switches.
And that really is our mission today. We're going under the hood,
Yeah.
beneath that user-friendly surface. We're going to explore how this app is engineered.
How it handles those messy, non-traditional relationships.
Exactly. And where it physically hides your data on your device. And most importantly, how to unlock its hidden advanced tools to keep your work safe and prevent a catastrophic crash.
So when someone first opens an app like this, they're expecting, to enter names and dates, simple stuff. Why do you suddenly need a whole separate advanced tools section?
Well, it's really the difference between being a casual user and being a data steward. Serious genealogy is all about managing data to a certain standard.
Okay.
So these advanced tools, they're the key to getting more control, to managing your data in a way that aligns perfectly with that underlying GEDCOM structure. You're moving from just consuming the app to actually editing at a deeper level.
So if you're ever planning to share your data with other genealogists or maybe move it to a desktop program later, this is non-negotiable.
Absolutely non-negotiable. If you want your data to be portable and compliant, you have to use these tools.
Let's walk through how to find it then, because it's not exactly obvious.
No, it's a bit hidden. You go to the tree screen, then you tap the little gear icon for settings, and you have to scroll down till you see the option, Show Advanced Tools.
And as soon as you flip that switch, the whole app it opens up.
It really does. The benefits are immediate. You suddenly can export full GEDCOM files, and more importantly, save full ZIP backups, which are your primary defense against data loss.
Right, your life rafts.
Precisely. And beyond just safety, you get granular control. The record IDs, which are normally hidden, they become visible and editable.
Which is huge if you're trying to debug a file someone sent you.
Huge. And you also get direct access to foundational records that are usually hidden away, like your source, repository, and submitter records. You can document exactly where your information came from.
And what about dates? That's always tricky with historical stuff.
You get more powerful options there, too. You can handle pre-Common Era dates, so BC, and also what are called double dates, which you need when you're working with records from periods when countries were switching calendar systems.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, especially for the data geeks. The naming conventions. By default, the app is super friendly, right? It gives you a given name box and a surname box.
Right. Very simple. But once you turn on advanced tools, this single mysterious field called value just appears.
And that value field is the real deal.
That is the core of GEDCOM compliance. It shows you the true underlying structure. In the proper standard, the surname has to be enclosed in forward slashes. So, for example, Homer J. Simpson becomes Homer J. Simpson.
So the slashes are literally what tells the computer this part is the surname.
Exactly. It removes all ambiguity. And here's the critical part. If you type anything into that value field, it overrides whatever is in the separate given name and surname fields.
So it takes precedence.
Total precedence. It guarantees that when you export your tree, any other program will know exactly what the surname is. It prevents a total data disaster down the line.
All right, moving beyond just data standards, let's get into the messy reality of actual families. How does Family Gem handle structures that, go way beyond the simple mother-father-child unit? Things like adoption.
It handles that kind of complexity really elegantly by using the GEDCOM concept of multiple families. Instead of trying to force conflicting data into one relationship, it creates parallel structures.
Let's use that example from the sources. Herbert Powell, Homer Simpson's half-brother who was adopted. How do you show that he has both biological and adoptive parents?
You have to link him as a child in two separate families. So first, he's a child in the family of his biological parents. Then you link him again as a child in the family of his adoptive parents.
So you're not erasing one history to create another, you're showing both.
You're showing both, which is crucial for an honest record. And once he's linked to that second family, you have to define the family lineage type. You get a few options.
Like what?
Undefined, which is the default, then birth, adopted, or foster. So you'd select adopted, and that word literally appears next to his role. So we'll say adopted son.
And you can also add a specific event for it too, right?
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
If you want a timeline entry, you can add an explicit adoption event to his personal profile.
That seems really thorough. Okay, what about multiple partners? Like Grandpa Simpson, who has kids with a couple of different women, creating half-siblings.
Same principle. It results in multiple families all linked to that one person. So Grandpa Simpson is the father in the family unit with Mona, which produces Homer,
Right.
but he's also the father in a completely separate family unit with a woman named Edwina, and that results in his daughter Abby. Homer and Abby are connected through him, but through different family structures.
And I'm guessing the app shows this visually somehow.
It does. When you're looking at the tree diagram, that second relationship is often shown with a dashed line
Yeah.
to make it clear it's a separate family unit.
And this brings us back to the advanced tools again, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. This is a key reason you need them. If you try to add a new partner from the diagram view without them, the app might guess wrong about which family to link them to. With the tools on, it prompts you, asking you to choose which family to connect them to. It gives you control.
Good. Now, before we move on, there's one really important GEDCOM rule about where events like marriage are stored. It's not where you'd think.
No, and this trips a lot of people up. Events like marriage, divorce, engagement, they are not stored on the individual's profile.
So where do they go?
They're stored on the family profile, on the union between the two people. That way the event is anchored to the relationship itself, which makes perfect sense. And you can even define the type, civil, religious, common law.
Or even just partnership or living together.
Exactly. It's very flexible.
Let's shift gears a bit to the operational side. We're on an Android phone, and those operating systems have gotten really, really restrictive. Where is all this priceless data actually stored?
This is a critical technical point. The main tree files are stored as JSON files, something like 1.json, and they live in highly restricted internal storage. The path is data.app.family gem files.
That's basically invisible to the user, right? You can't just browse to it.
Invisible and inaccessible,
Right.
yeah. Standard file browsers can't see it at all.
That sounds, frankly, terrifying for a genealogist who believes in owning their own data. What if the app breaks and you need to get that file out manually? Is there a backdoor?
There is, but it's definitely the nuclear option. The only way to get those JSON files without using the app's own export function is by using the Android Debug Bridge, ADB.
Whoa, okay, let's pause there. ADB is not some friendly app you download from the Play Store.
No, it's a developer tool.
Yeah.
A command line utility you run on a PC that's connected to your phone. You have to enable developer options on your device, turn on USB debugging. It's a whole process.
So you'd literally have to be sitting at a computer, typing in a long command string just to pull your own data file off your own phone.
Precisely. It really highlights this tension between modern security, which is good, and a user's fundamental right to access their own information. It's involved, but it is the only direct way to get that raw file if all else fails.
Okay, let's talk about media. Photos, documents. The sources mention a pretty big performance drop after version 1.2 if your media is in the wrong place. What happened?
What happened was Android permissions evolved. The app was updated so it didn't need to ask for permission to see your entire device storage, which is better for privacy.
But that had a side effect.
A big one.
Yeah.
It means accessing media from, say, your general documents folder is now incredibly slow. The app has to ask the operating system for permission for every single file, every single time.
So with hundreds of photos, the app would just grind to a halt.
It can, yeah. The solution is you have to move your files into a folder that the app officially owns.
And there are two ways to do that.
Two ways. First, you can use a feature inside the app to copy all your media into its dedicated storage path. That's usually something like Android Data App.family gem files.
Okay, that's the easy way. What's the other?
The other is to manually move your files into the other official owned folder, which is Android Media App.family gem. Anything you put in there, the OS grants the app instant access and the performance penalties vanishes.
That's a huge tip. Now, what about getting data in? Say I export a GEDCOM from my PC and it's full of Windows paths, like see users Marge photos. Is Family Jam going to freak out?
You'd think so, but it's surprisingly forgiving here, which is great. It just ignores all that platform-specific path stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it only cares about the file name itself, like familyphoto.jpg. As long as you put that JPG file somewhere, the app can find it on your phone and point it there. It'll relink everything perfectly.
That saves a massive headache. But what if I import an old file and all my accented characters, my names with lots of accents, just show up as gibberish?
Ah, a classic encoding failure. It means the original file didn't tell the app what character set it was using. The fix is actually really simple, but you have to do it manually.
And a text editor.
In a text editor on your computer, before you import it, you just open the file, find the line that says 0 head, and right underneath it, you add a new line, 1 shiashar UTF-8.
And that one line fixes it.
That one line tells any modern program how to read the text correctly. It solves the problem instantly.
This all brings up the single most important question for any genealogist: data loss. I mean, it's a terrifying thought after you've put in years of work. If the worst happens, what's the safety net?
Well, the sources identify a very specific disaster. The main tree file suddenly becomes a 0-byte file. It's empty. And the app just says, can't get useful data.
The digital heart attack.
It is. And it seems to happen if the app crashes at the exact millisecond it's performing an autosave. It's rare, but it happens.
So because that risk exists.
Because that risk exists, the app's architecture gives you not 1, but 5 different layers of recovery. Relying on a single backup method is just too dangerous.
Okay, let's go through the 5 paths, starting with the internal ones.
First is the local backup. You have to turn this on in the settings. But once you do, the app automatically keeps the last 3 ZIP backups every time you save. So if the main file gets corrupted, you can just roll back to a recent snapshot.
Okay, that's layer 1. What's 2?
The automatic Google backup. If you're on Android 6 or newer and you have it enabled on your phone, Google backs up your app data to your Google Drive. It's about 25 megabytes worth, and that includes media in that special app-owned folder we talked about.
But restoring from that is pretty drastic, right?
It is. You have to completely uninstall the app and then reinstall it. That's what triggers the OS to restore the data from the cloud. It works, but it's a big step.
All right, number 3 is the one we control ourselves.
Right. The manual ZIP backup. This needs the advanced tools. It creates one single perfect ZIP file with your trees JSON file and all of your linked media files. That's your gold standard snapshot that you can copy to your computer or anywhere else.
Okay, path number 4 is a clever one. It's sort of an unintended backup method.
It is. Using the sharing feature as a backup. When you share a tree, the app uploads a full ZIP copy to an online server so your collaborator can load it.
And that file stays there for a while.
It stays there for 1 month. So if your phone gets completely wiped, you can just go find that share link you created and download your own ZIP file to recover. It's a great temporary cloud backup.
And the final option is just good old-fashioned best practice.
Exactly. Re-importing a GEDCOM export. If you were prudent and exported your work as a standard GEDCOM file before the crash, you could always just start a new tree and re-import it. That's why regular exports are absolutely mandatory.
So when you put it all together, what does this all mean? Family Gem is clearly more than just a simple app. It's a really robust genealogy tool, but it seems to demand a certain level of technical knowledge to get the most out of it.
Absolutely. We've seen how you have to use that two-family system to correctly model things like adoption, and how you need the advanced tools to get true GEDCOM name standards using that value field. And we've walked through the 5 critical layers you need to protect yourself from a crash.
Including things like moving your photos into the right folder just to make the app run smoothly.
Right. All these little details matter.
So here's a final thought. Considering how locked down modern phones are becoming, forcing dedicated users to learn command line tools like ADB just to get their own data file, are we treating our digital heritage with the caution it deserves? Or are we maybe relying a bit too much on automated backups that could fail at the exact wrong moment?
It's something to think about. That manual ZP backup starts to look pretty essential.